It's book review time. I have another marketing book to review. This one I did read the ebook on my phone, so I don't have a pretty cover to show you. It was actually an advanced copy, so even the cover title on the ebook is just a blank page with the title. I hate to give the author's name because I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation. I'm going to go with Udi Lettergore, and I should look up how to pronounce that. The first name is Udi, and the last name is Ledergor. So, courageous marketing. Full disclosure, I did get a free copy of this book in exchange for an honest Amazon review, and I did all that, but was like, well, hey, as long as I'm reading a marketing book, I might as well let you guys know about this book as well. Because I did really like that. I think I really only had one or two minor quibbles with it, but on the whole, it is a really good book. The subtitle is A B2B Marketer's Playbook for Career Success. That got my attention because I do love B2B marketing. If you haven't already heard me say this, I do tend to consider myself a B2B marketer, even though I work with a lot of attorneys and financial planners. So I like to say they are technically B2C, but they operate a lot more like a B2B in that they have that longer buyer journey. Takes a while to build trust, build recognition with people who are considering working with you, considering hiring you. You also have a higher price point. So they're going to spend some more time deliberating before they decide which person or company they're going to hire. And there's usually more than one person making that hiring decision. So all of those things are things that they tend to have in common with B2B marketing. So I love that that this whole book got into B2B marketing. It was a lot of fun. And it really was fun. I do want to, again, small quibble with this book is the fact that in the subtitle he calls it a playbook for career success. I would not call it a playbook for that. I would say it is a playbook for outside of the box marketing plans, but I think that title was already taken. So I can see why he went with something a little bit different. So throughout the book, what he does is he provides various examples of when he took risks as a B2B marketer and when they paid off. And to be clear, they do not always pay off. He isn't encouraging you to try to take risks. So it is mostly going to be, here's something I did that was out of the box that seemed really risky and, took a lot of our budget, but it paid off and, got us lots of ROI and here's what happened. He does have one or two flops in there. He does talk about the flops, which I appreciate because it humanizes him. It makes it clear he's not some sort of magnificent marketer who never makes any mistakes, right? He's not some sort of wonder person. But it also gave him a chance to analyze why they didn't work, which I'm sure is great for him and his career. It's also good for us as people reading this book, learning when we should go for it, when we should not. He does talk about these stunts he pulls off, and not only are they successful, again, not because he's some sort of wonder kid, but because he's, usually really strategic about it. He has a really good reason for why this should work and how they can go about doing it in a way that makes it work. So my favorite story and he tells the story kind of a lot through the book. It's kind of the main theme, and he starts off with it talking about this Super Bowl ad that he got his company to approve paying for, even though they were they were not like Bud Light or any of the companies you normally associate with the Super Bowl ads. They were a much smaller startup in California. So that was they were not the kind of company you would think of to have a Super Bowl ad. But he pointed out, and I had realized this, that you can pay for a regional Super Bowl ad. So you can have your ad play in just a certain region instead of all over the country. And it's still not cheap to be fair, but it's much less expensive than the millions of dollars people are paying to have their ad play all over the country. So that is a quick tip. And I love that he gave an example of when he did that and it paid off, and a different example of when he did the same thing and spent even more money and it did not pay off. And he does a good job of explaining, why one worked and the other one did not. The book is a super quick read. So I love that. I love a nice quick read. I love that each chapter focused on a different aspect of marketing. So you kind of get enough to get your feet wet, right? It's not a deep dive into anything. It's more of a broad overview of marketing in general, which again, I appreciate. I appreciate that broad overview, including he even spends a section talking about content marketing, of course, which is the longest chapter in the book, the one about content marketing, which I'm biased. So, of course, I loved seeing that. It's also a theme that I've been seeing in the marketing books that I read. It seems like it's consistently the longest chapter in the book when they start talking about content marketing. I don't think that's a coincidence. So, happy to see that. Um, he did also explore towards the end the pros and cons of becoming a specialist in, say, content marketing, or going broad and becoming more of a jack of all trades and learning a little bit more about everything so you can manage a team that does everything so that then you're more of a CMO, chief marketing officer. So I appreciated that he talked about that because I had been thinking about becoming more of a CMO and going a little more broad because I do love the strategy side of things. But he talked me out of it because he said that means spending all day in meetings, and I hate that. So I am definitely not going to go towards that. And I love writing too much to outsource it. I do always want to do my own writing. So that is it. Oh, and last but certainly not least, this book is really well written. Like I said, he tells these stories of things that he did that worked and why they didn't work and what worked and what worked and what didn't and why they did or did not work. So I appreciate that he did that. And again, not only is it great to see those examples, it keeps it really engaging. He is a really good writer, and it is great to see those stories interspersed. Not only taking place of these marketing lessons in the form of stories. Excellent to see that. And again, that combined with the fact that it was short and the chapters were nice and short, it was a breeze to read. It was really quick and easy. And like I said, it is more of a broad overview of marketing. So as far as who is this for, I would definitely say anyone in marketing, especially if they are in or have interests in B2B marketing. But I would also definitely recommend this to anyone thinking about going into marketing, or even for someone who's in business, who's doing their own marketing and needs to learn a little bit about things to consider and what works and what doesn't. I would absolutely recommend that, especially since he does work in a startup when he's in the portion of his career that he's talking about in this book is when he's working for a startup and helping them get off the ground and get that name recognition. So I appreciated that. My other one quibble about that is there were times where this did feel like an ad for the company that he was working for at the time, which I'm not going to name because it gets plenty of play in the book. So if you decide to read the book, you will know the company. But that was the one thing that struck me as a little like, really? We're going to spend that much time talking about this? Oh, okay. So minor quibble, but again, got the book for free and can't complain. So that I do recommend it. That is it. Courageous Marketing, a B2B marketer's playbook for career success by Udi Lettergore. That is it. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.